Billionaire CEO told Virgin Nanny, "Undress me now, I can't move." She did. Then he fell in love. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Romance Rewind Stories. Before we dive into today's incredible story, I have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying these heartwarming tales, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads. It's quick, it's free, and it's the best way to support us in bringing you more emotional romance stories. And here's something I'd love to know. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I always enjoy seeing our amazing community from around the world. Oh, and if this story touches your heart, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps us grow and reach more people who love these kinds of tales. Now, let's get into today's story. Billionaire CEO told Virgin Nanny, "Undress me now, I can't move." She did, then he fell in love. The accident happened on a Tuesday afternoon in early October. Thorne Blackwater, 40-year-old CEO of Blackwater Industries worth $12 billion, was riding his Ducati through the winding canyon roads north of Los Angeles. It was his weekly ritual, the one time he allowed himself to feel something other than the calculated control that defined his existence. He saw the deer too late. It bounded into the road from the hillside, eyes wide with panic. Thorne swerved hard, the bike sliding out from under him at 60 miles per hour. He hit the asphalt with devastating force, tumbling across the road in a tangle of metal and limbs and searing pain. The protective gear saved his life. The helmet prevented brain damage. The leather jacket kept his skin mostly intact, but it couldn't prevent the catastrophic damage to his shoulders. Both dislocated simultaneously, torn ligaments, 3 cracked ribs, and severe road rash across his back and arms that looked like someone had taken a cheese grater to his skin. The orthopedic surgeon was brutally honest. "You're looking at 6 weeks minimum with both arms completely immobilized, possibly 8, depending on how you heal. Both shoulders need to stay in slings, no movement whatsoever. Which means, Mr. Blackwater, you won't be able to use your hands or arms for anything. You'll need full-time assistance with every aspect of daily living." Thorne stared at the ceiling of his hospital room, processing what every aspect meant. Eating, drinking, bathing, using the bathroom, getting dressed. Everything that defined him as an independent, powerful man was about to be stripped away. "Do you have family who can help?" the surgeon asked. "No." The word came out harder than intended. Thorne's parents had died years ago. He had no siblings, no significant other, no close friends, just business associates and employees. He'd spent 40 years building walls so high that nobody could reach him, and now those walls were about to become a prison. "Then you'll need to hire professional care. I'll have the social worker provide recommendations." That's how Aurora Hayes entered his life 3 days later. At 26, Aurora had been working as a live-in nanny for wealthy families for 4 years, moving from home to household, caring for children whose parents were too busy or too disinterested to raise them properly. She was patient, professional, and had developed a thick skin against the casual cruelty of wealth, the way rich people looked through service workers like they were furniture. But she stayed in the field because the work paid well, and every dollar went into her dream fund. Aurora wanted to open a therapy center for children with behavioral challenges, kids like she'd been. Growing up in foster care after her parents died, she'd been labeled difficult, troubled, damaged. She'd bounced between 12 different homes before aging out of the system at 18. One teacher had seen past the labels, had recognized that Aurora's behavioral issues came from trauma, not malice. That teacher had changed everything, had helped Aurora get into community college, had believed in her when nobody else did. Now, Aurora wanted to be that person for other kids, the one who saw past the behavior to the hurt underneath. The agency call came on a Thursday afternoon. Emergency placement, not a child. Injured adult male who needs full-time care for 6 to 8 weeks. It's intensive work, Aurora. He can't use his arms at all. You'd be responsible for literally everything, but it pays $60,000 for the duration. Aurora's breath caught. $60,000. That was a full year's salary compressed into 2 months. That was a massive leap toward her dream. "I'll take it," she said without hesitation. She arrived at Thorne's Malibu mansion that evening, professional and prepared. The house was stunning. Ultra-modern glass and steel perched on a cliff overlooking the Pacific, the kind of place featured in architecture magazines. She knocked on the massive front door, straightened her practical clothes, and waited. When the door opened, Aurora found herself looking at a man who radiated barely contained frustration. Thorne Blackwater stood there, both arms strapped rigidly against his torso in complicated slings, his face grey with pain, his jaw tight with the effort of appearing composed. "Mr. Blackwater? I'm Aurora Hayes from the Home Care Agency." Thorne's eyes swept over her, assessing, skeptical. "You're younger than I expected. I'm 26 and have been providing professional care for 4 years. I have certifications in first aid, medication management, and personal assistance. My references are excellent." The agency explained what I need. Yes, full assistance with activities of daily living due to bilateral shoulder immobilization. I can handle it. Can you? His voice carried an edge. Because what I need is someone who can help me eat, drink, bathe, dress, use the bathroom, everything. There's no dignity in this situation, Miss Hayes. I need someone who can handle that level of intimacy without making it awkward. Aurora met his gaze steadily. I've cared for infants, toddlers, and elderly patients during my training. I understand how to provide intimate care while maintaining appropriate professional boundaries. That's what you're paying me for, Mr. Blackwater. Professional assistance, not judgment. Something in her calm competence made Thorne's shoulders relax fractionally. Your room is the second door upstairs. My bedroom is the master suite at the end of the hall. I'll need help in 1 hour, medication and changing clothes. That first hour of assistance tested every ounce of Aurora's professional training. She knocked on Thorne's bedroom door exactly 60 minutes later, her medical supplies bag in hand. When he called for her to enter, she found him standing rigidly beside his bed, still wearing the button-down shirt he'd had on earlier. His face was tight with pain and something that looked like humiliation. "I can't get this shirt off," he said bluntly, not meeting her eyes. "The buttons are impossible with my arms immobilized. I've been standing here for 30 minutes trying to figure it out, and all I've accomplished is making my shoulders hurt worse." "That's exactly why I'm here," Aurora said calmly, setting down her bag. "Would you prefer to sit or stand for this?" "Stand. Getting up and down is even harder than staying vertical." Aurora approached him with steady professionalism, keeping her eyes focused on the task. "I'm going to unbutton your shirt now. Just stay as still as possible." Her fingers worked efficiently down the row of buttons. Thorne fixed his gaze somewhere over her shoulder, his jaw clenched. When she reached the last button and carefully began easing the shirt off his shoulders, she had to move close enough that she could smell his cologne, feel the heat radiating from his body, sense the tension in every muscle. The shirt came free, and Aurora's breath caught despite her professional training. His entire torso was wrapped in compression bandages. His shoulders were purple and black with bruising. Across his arms and what she could see of his back, road rash wounds wept through specialized dressings. The extent of the damage was staggering. "Oh my God," she whispered before she could stop herself. "Mr. Blackwater, this must be absolutely agonizing." "It's manageable," he said, but his voice was strained. "It's not manageable. You're white-knuckling through severe pain." Aurora moved to his nightstand, where medications were arranged. "When did you last take pain medication?" "This morning." "Round 7. It's 6 p.m. now. That's 11 hours. The prescription says every 6 hours for a reason." She checked the bottles, reading labels carefully. "You're supposed to take these regularly, not try to tough it out." "I don't like being drugged. Makes me feel out of control. And unmanaged pain makes healing slower. and increases the risk of complications. Aurora's voice was gentle but firm as she prepared his medications. You hired me to help you recover, Mr. Blackwater. Let me do my job. She handed him the pills and held a glass of water with a straw to his lips. The simple act, her steadying the glass while he drank, somehow felt more intimate than removing his shirt had. When he finished, she set the glass down and asked, "Where do you keep clean shirts?" "Walk-in closet, left side. Any of the button-downs will work." Aurora found the closet, which was larger than her childhood bedroom, and selected a soft cotton shirt. When she returned, Thorne was swaying slightly, the pain medication beginning to take effect. "Sit down before you fall down," she instructed, guiding him to the bed's edge. Then she helped him into the clean shirt, with the same efficient care she'd use with a child, buttoning each button while he stared at the wall. "I hate this," he said suddenly. "Being this helpless, having a stranger dress me like I'm 5 years old." "I know," Aurora said quietly, "but helpless is temporary. You're healing." "This is temporary, is it? Because right now it feels permanent." Aurora knelt in front of him so they were eye level. "Mr. Blackwater, look at me." When his eyes met hers, she continued. 4 days ago, you were riding a motorcycle at 60 miles per hour. You had a catastrophic accident that could have killed you. You survived. Your body is repairing itself. In 6 weeks, you'll be using your arms again. This is not permanent, it's just right now. And right now, you need help. That's not weakness, that's being human. Something in Thorne's expression cracked. You're very good at this, at dressing stubborn billionaires, at making it feel less pathetic. That's because it's not pathetic. It's just life. Now, do you want dinner? I can cook or order something. Over the next 2 weeks, they developed a careful routine. Aurora would wake Thorne at 7 a.m., entering his room quietly, opening the blackout curtains to let in morning light, helping him sit up without jostling his injuries. Medication first, then the careful process of helping him dress. Thorne owned exclusively button-down shirts, which made things marginally easier, but Aurora still had to essentially dress him each morning, her fingers working buttons while he held himself rigid, trying to maintain some semblance of dignity. Then came breakfast. The first morning she'd brought a tray to his dining room, set it down, and picked up the fork. Thorne had stared at her in disbelief. "You're going to feed me." "Unless you've developed telekinesis overnight, yes. I'm 40 years old. And you have no functional use of your arms. Thorne, we can do this the easy way. You let me feed you breakfast like a civilized person. Or the hard way, where you spend an hour trying to eat with your face and end up wearing more food than you consume. Your choice." Despite himself, Thorne had laughed. "Has anyone ever told you you're very direct?" "Frequently. It's one of my best qualities. Now open up." That first breakfast was awkward, but by day 3 they'd found a rhythm. Aurora would narrate what was on the fork: eggs, toast, bacon, and Thorne would accept each bite with gradually diminishing embarrassment. They talked during meals. Aurora asked about his business, his life, his interests. Thorne asked about her background, her education, her dreams, and slowly the wall between caregiver and patient began to dissolve. "Why children's therapy specifically?" Thorne asked one morning during breakfast in week 2. Aurora was quiet for a moment, holding a forkful of fruit mid-air. "Because I was one of those kids who needed it. I grew up in foster care after my parents died in a car accident when I was 7. I was angry, hurt, acting out. Every foster family labeled me difficult and sent me back. 12 different homes in 11 years. That's terrible. It was survival. But there was this one teacher, Ms. Rodriguez in 10th grade, who saw past the behavior to what was underneath. She got me into therapy, helped me understand my trauma wasn't my fault, helped me get scholarships for community college. She saved my life, Thorne. And I want to do that for other kids. Be the person who sees past the difficult behavior to the hurt child underneath." "That's remarkable," Thorne said quietly. "Most people who experience trauma like that would run from it, not toward it. Maybe. But I learned that the only way to heal from something is to transform it into something meaningful. My pain becomes purpose if I use it to help others. By week 3, something had fundamentally shifted between them. The intimate daily care, Aurora helping Thorn bathe, dress, eat, had created a connection neither expected. They'd seen each other vulnerable in ways that went beyond physical exposure. Aurora learned that Thorn was brilliant but lonely, that he'd built his empire to prove something to her father who'd never believed in him, that he pushed people away because everyone who'd ever gotten close had eventually wanted something from him, his money, his connections, his power. Thorn learned that Aurora was strong in ways that had nothing to do with physical strength, that she'd survived circumstances that would have destroyed most people, that her dream of helping children came from genuine compassion, not some savior complex. The evening everything changed came during week 4. Thorn had a doctor's appointment to evaluate his healing progress. Aurora drove him to the orthopedic surgeon's office, helped him out of the car, stayed beside him during the examination. When the doctor unwrapped the compression bandages, the road rash underneath had healed into angry red scars that would mark Thorn's skin permanently. "These won't fade completely," the doctor said matter-of-factly. "The scarring is permanent, but functionally you're healing ahead of schedule. We can start gentle physical therapy next week. Limited range of motion exercises." In the car afterward, Thorn was silent, staring out the window at the passing landscape. "Talk to me," Aurora said gently. "What's bothering you?" "Nothing." "Thorn." She pulled the car over into a scenic overlook, put it in park, and turned to face him. "I've been taking care of you for 4 weeks. I know when something's wrong. Talk to me." He was quiet for a long moment, jaw working. Finally, "I'm vain enough that permanent scars bother me, which is stupid. I should just be grateful I survived, grateful I'll regain function. But all I can think about is that my body will never look the same, that I'll carry these marks forever." "You will," Aurora agreed. "But Thorn, those scars aren't ugly. They're proof you survived something catastrophic. They're evidence of your body healing itself, of resilience, of strength. Every time you see them, you'll remember that you went down hard and got back up. That's not ugly, that's beautiful." "You don't have to say that. I'm not saying it to make you feel better. I'm saying it because it's true. Scars tell stories. Yours tell a story of survival." She reached out instinctively, her hand covering his, then froze, realizing the intimacy of the gesture, but Thorn didn't pull away. Instead, his fingers, still limited in movement, tried to curl around hers. "Aurora," he said quietly, "I need to tell you something, and I need you to just listen without interrupting." "Can you do that?" Her heart hammered. "I'm falling in love with you, have been for weeks, probably since that first morning when you told me helpless was temporary. I know that's inappropriate. You're my caregiver, I'm your employer. The power dynamic makes this impossible. But I can't keep pretending I only see you as hired help. You're the best part of every day. The reason I look forward to waking up instead of dreading another day of being dependent. You make me laugh, you challenge me, you really see me in ways nobody ever has." Aurora's eyes filled with tears. "Thorn, I'm not done. I know this probably doesn't go anywhere. I know when you leave in 2 weeks you'll go back to your life, and I'll go back to mine. But I needed you to know that these 6 weeks have meant something to me, that you've meant something to me, that's all. I just needed you to know." "You're an idiot," Aurora said, her voice breaking. Thorn blinked. "What? You think this has been one-sided? You think I haven't been falling for you too? Thorn, I've spent 4 weeks seeing you at your most vulnerable. Helpless, in pain, stripped of all the armor you usually wear. And instead of finding weakness, I found this incredible man who's kind and funny and resilient, who asks about my dreams like they matter, who treats me like I'm more than just hired help. How am I supposed to not fall for that?" "Then why are you crying?" Because this is impossible. I'm your employee. You're paying me $60,000. Even if we both feel this, acting on it would compromise everything. People would say I manipulated you when you were vulnerable, that I took advantage, that I'm just another person after your money. What if I don't care what people say? But I do. Thorn, I've spent my whole life proving I'm more than the labels people put on me. I won't become the gold digger who seduced her disabled employer. I can't. They sat in charged silence, the ocean crashing far below the overlook, the afternoon sun slanting through the windshield. Finally, Thorn said, "What if we wait? Your contract ends in 2 weeks. After that, you're not my employee anymore. We wait until then to revisit this conversation. As equals, if you still feel this way, if this is still real, we'd really try. No employee complication, just two people seeing if what we found in these impossible circumstances can survive in the real world." Aurora wiped her eyes, then nodded. 2 weeks. We maintain professional boundaries until then. And if this is still real, if we both still feel this way when the power dynamic is gone, we see where it goes. Deal. The next 2 weeks were excruciating. They maintained careful professional distance during the day, but the evenings were different. After Thorn's medication, when the pain made him more open, they'd talk for hours. About childhood, dreams, fears, the future. Thorn told her about building his company from a struggling startup into a global empire. About the loneliness of success. About never finding someone who wanted him beyond his wealth and status. Aurora told him about foster care, about the teacher who'd saved her, about the children she wanted to help, about her fear that her dream was too big, too ambitious for someone with her background. "Your background is exactly why you'll succeed," Thorn said one evening. "You understand those kids because you were one of them. You're not some privileged person trying to save children you don't understand. You've lived their reality. That makes you perfect for this." "You really believe that?" "I know it." On the final day of Aurora's contract, the physical therapist declared Thorn ready to manage independently. His range of motion was returning. He could feed himself with effort, dress himself with some difficulty, handle basic self-care. "You did excellent work," the therapist told Aurora. "He recovered faster than most patients with his injury severity. The quality of care made a significant difference." After the therapist left, Aurora and Thorn stood in his living room, the weight of ending heavy between them. "So," Aurora said, "contract fulfilled. I'm officially no longer your employee." "Good," Thorn said, "because I have a business proposition for you." He handed her a folder. Aurora opened it with shaking hands and found incorporation documents, funding commitments, property leases, everything needed to establish a non-profit organization. "The Aurora Hayes Center for Childhood Behavioral Therapy," she read aloud, her voice breaking. "Fully funded operational budget for 5 years, staff positions for therapists, social workers, administrative support, property lease in downtown LA near public transportation. This is Thorn, this is everything. This is my entire dream. You'll run it," Thorn said. "Full control. Your vision, your methodologies, your mission. I'm just the investor. This is your center, Aurora. You've earned it." "I haven't earned this. This is millions of dollars. You earned it by being extraordinary, by caring for me with dignity when I was helpless, by showing me that vulnerability isn't weakness, by making me believe that maybe letting someone in isn't the worst thing in the world. Aurora, these 6 weeks taught me something crucial, that the strongest thing I can do is admit I need someone. You taught me that. This center is my way of saying thank you. This is too much. It's not enough. But it's a start." He took a careful step closer. "I love you, completely, hopelessly in love with you, and I want to spend my life supporting your dreams the way you supported me. So say yes to the center, to building this future together, to taking this insane chance on us." Aurora looked at the man who'd started as her client and become her everything. "I'm terrified." So am I, but I'm more terrified of letting you walk away. Then I guess we're doing this. She closed the distance between them, careful of his still healing shoulders, and kissed him softly. When they broke apart, she whispered, "I love you too. Have loved you since you laughed at my airplane joke during breakfast in week 1. That's when I knew too," Thorne admitted, "that someone who could make me laugh while feeding me scrambled eggs was someone special." They married 8 months later, in a small ceremony at the Aurora Hayes Center. The dream made real. During their vows, Thorne said, "Aurora, you came into my life when I was broken. You undressed me because I couldn't do it myself, fed me because I couldn't hold a fork, cared for me when I was completely helpless. But more than that, you undressed my soul, stripped away the armor I'd spent 40 years building, and saw the man underneath. Thank you for staying when I needed you, for seeing me when I couldn't see myself, for teaching me that real strength is letting someone in." "Thank you," Aurora replied through joyful tears, "for trusting me with your vulnerability, for funding my dreams without trying to control them, for proving that sometimes the people who need us most end up being exactly what we needed all along. I came to undress you because you were injured. I stayed because you undressed your heart and showed me who you really are. That's the man I love. That's the man I choose, forever." Because sometimes the most intimate moments aren't physical. They're the vulnerability of letting someone help when you're at your weakest. Sometimes being completely helpless with the right person teaches you strength you never knew you had. And sometimes the person hired to undress you for medical care ends up undressing your soul instead, revealing that real love isn't about power or independence. It's about trusting someone enough to be beautifully, wonderfully vulnerable with them. And that's where our story ends today. What did you think? Did Thorne and Aurora's story of vulnerability leading to love touch your heart? Let us know in the comments what your favorite moment was. If you enjoyed this story, we have so many more waiting for you. Check out our playlist for more heartwarming romance tales that will make you believe in love all over again. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. Your support means everything to us. Until next time, keep believing in love, keep believing in second chances, and remember, the best stories are the ones that remind us we all deserve our happily ever after. See you in the next story.